There were so many times over the last 4 weeks that I was like, is it this? Nope, 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 nope. It was just a no every way. And again, I think I was feeling into this collective desire to stop, put on the brakes. We got to take care of this before we do anything else. Welcome to Activations with JJ, February 2024 monthly energy update. In this episode, I'll be sharing with you 4 energetic themes that will be coming up for us this month as we navigate this beautiful time of shift and ascension, both collectively and individually. Hello and welcome, dear beautiful souls. Thank you once again for joining me for this podcast episode. Whether you are new or you've been around for a while, I am always deeply grateful and honored to have you here as a listener. As we dive into the topics for February, how many of you feel, by show of hands, I can see you in my third eye, that January felt like 4 or 5 months packed into one? I felt like I needed to do an energy update every single week. Yes, I know that all of you are feeling the same. Lots of ups and downs, lots of roller coaster. In fact, something very fascinating that happened during January is that as I was nearing the end of the month, when I typically will channel or bring through the themes for the next month in advance, because my team likes to be more prepared than 2 hours ahead of when it's going to be published, I just was having a block. So if you've been having blocks this month on other things, let me tell you, I've been having blocks, quote unquote blocks. I don't want to call them that. We can reframe it, but you get what I'm saying, right? And it felt fuzzy. It felt like limbo. The energy just wasn't meshing. And I'm like trying to tune in onto what offerings I wanted to do this month, trying to tune into the ways that I could serve the collective, the themes that I could bring through. And there were a couple that I already felt coming to the surface. That's actually what I shared at the tail end of January in my previous Ascension Message episode. But there was something that wasn't connecting. I just kept feeling like, why can't I get that very last final piece locked in and really feel confident about the themes that want to come through this month? So I was sitting and talking about this with my team, and I was like, something's going on because I can't even think of, I want to open my one-on-ones back up. I took a pause during January. I didn't do too many one-on-ones. At the beginning of February, I did like a handful of grid worker remembrance. I still have a couple left to do, but I just was like, well, I don't feel like one-on-one Akashic. No, it's a no, it's a no. And it felt like my guides were putting on brakes. They're like, nope, nope, stop, nope, nope. And I'm like, what is this? I couldn't really grasp what was going on. And what happened was I was just talking through this with my team, one particular member of my team. And I said to her, why is there, I feel resistance from the collective. I feel like I'm picking up on collective energies. And I typically will ask my guides, like, well, how can I serve the collective best? Like, what offerings can I bring forward that would assist them at this particular time? Now, what dropped in was emotional body. And for those of you who are in my starseed grid work community, you might remember that at one of our gatherings this month, the very first thing that our guides had us do was an emotional body calibration. They're like, we can't do anything until we do this. And so all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, that was a clue. That was a clue regarding what the collective energy is asking for right now. I want to give you one more sort of experience that I had to illustrate this aha moment. I went into a little bit of a meditation after I had that conversation and knew it was emotional body. And I saw myself and my role. Now, some of you might not know this, but I don't typically tune in to me. Like, what am I? Who am I? What am I doing? Who am I? All those kinds of questions. Like, I just sort of bring through what wants to come through. I don't think too hard about the back end of it. But I saw myself in the role that I play, like I was riding a wave, and the wave was not water. The wave was people. And I was like, but it was less of a wave and more of like this giant dinosaur animal thing made of people, made of humans. And I assumed that symbolized the collective. And I was riding this wave, and and I had like a harness, and I was letting the collective take me where they wanted to go. I was responding to them, and I was like, okay, you guys show me. And I sort of felt the collective lead me to the left and to the right, and just kind of swerve here and there and everywhere. And I was with them. I was like, I'm here for the ride. Wherever you guys want to go, I'll be with you. Then all of a sudden, my guide said, there was like a big banner on my visual. It was like, sort of this time, like January, February, this time. And all of a sudden I saw this just huge, like brakes put on, like screeching halt. And the big wave that I was riding, or this kind of big collective energy, was at a standstill. At a standstill. I was like, what is going on? And it hit me. Fear was one of the biggest things that came forward. But it was just this idea of the emotions are causing a moment of freeze. Everybody's freezing. It kind of feels like limbo too. And so that was the picture that was painted for me to help further illustrate what is coming forward for the month of February. Now, that theme of the emotional body rolls into a few other themes that I have. I have 4 in total today. And I want to start off with this emotional body piece because there are some key parts to it that you need to understand. We throw around these terms. I've actually had emotional body come up in a prior energy update last year. So this is a theme that is not unfamiliar to us. And what was brought through for me is something, and I think it was Bringers of the Dawn now that I think about it. You can go back and find that podcast episode because Bringers of the Dawn talks about it. And it says something like we are getting upgrades to our emotional body. And our emotional body is shifting in frequency to like its own sort of light body in a miniature way in comparison to like our whole body altogether. But all the parts of our body need to receive these upgrades in order for them to shift harmoniously into higher frequencies, which we tend to refer to as 5D. Sometimes I don't think 5D is the most accurate way to say it, but I do use that word because everybody sort of gets what it means. Now, the specific offering that came forward is indicative of the focus that you can take this month, whether or not you receive the offerings that I have related to the emotional body, or whether or not you are empowered to navigate this with the tools that you have and you possess and the answers that you know you can call in. That's really not the point. The point is, this is the theme. This is what we're being invited to work with. I don't even like using the word work. Play with. Play. And that is the concept of 5D emotional body activation. That's the name of my offering, in fact. 5D emotional body activation. And let me tell you how many offerings I went through over the last 4 weeks till I finally landed on that. There were so many times over the last 4 weeks that I was like, is it this? Nope. It was just a no every way. And again, I think I was feeling into this collective desire to stop, put on the brakes. We got to take care of this before we do anything else. Now, I truly believe that this is connected to another theme I brought through previously about the nervous system, because the nervous system and the emotional body are so closely connected. So it was really fascinating that on the same day that I brought through the information about the emotional body that I am now sharing with you, we had our monthly virtual circle for the Star Mothers worldwide. And by the way, if you're not a member, you are invited. It's a free resource portal, and we have a free monthly circle and a book club. It's so awesome. We also have our Star Mothers course coming up soon. So hop into that portal if you're not already there, and follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. We're growing. There's so many beautiful channeled messages coming through. But I digress. So the theme that came through was your nervous system, our nervous system, and the Lemurian Star Mothers came through. And that is actually the channeled message for the month of February, because I typically channel a message and activation specifically for the month's themes. That's who's coming through. And you'll be able to access that channeled message and light language activation later on this week if you're listening to it right on the day it's published. So it'll be that first weekend of February that I am going to put out that podcast episode with the Lemurian Star Mothers, because they showed themselves to be incredibly supportive of emotional upgrades, emotions. I myself and my friend Alex, who are both on the Global Council for Star Mothers Worldwide, during a co-channeling circle that we did for that it's the January monthly virtual circle. You can listen to the playback for free in the portal. We both talked about emotions. And in addition, the two Star Mothers Global Council members who were in charge of that meeting and the theme talked about nervous system. It all goes together. It all goes together. So my big emphasis this month is 5D emotional body activation. I have one-on-one sessions, but I have discovered over these last, I think it's been 2 months that I've done it, where I do like a workshop, like a group, so I would call it like a group session, and then I offer one-on-one sessions. It's super impactful. We just did our Grid Worker Remembrance Workshop. Oh my goodness. If you did not attend that, grab the replay. The link is below, because what I could bring through in the company of so many powerful, beautiful souls was exponentially greater than if I would have just sat down in front of my computer and pushed record in my little room. It was just easier. I knew what I needed to say. It just came through. And I believe that's the same thing that's going to happen. I love doing one-on-ones because the details drop in there. But I also love doing the group sessions and the workshops. So that's what you're going to see in the links below. You're going to see the opportunity to do one-on-ones and the opportunity to do a group type of an event connected to 5D emotional body activation. So for those of you who are feeling really empowered to navigate this 5D emotional body activation for yourself, what does that look like? How do you do that? Well, I have 2 topics coming through at the end of the episode. So the 3rd and 4th topics will actually support that calibration and that activation. And I'm going to kind of postpone telling you about that for a second so I can cover this 2nd topic. It's kind of interesting how it all came forward because it was 4 topics. Number 4 is super powerful. I am so blessed and so honored to have been invited to a beautiful event on 2/24, which is actually the 2/24 portal this year in Kauai. So we had an incredible presenter who opened our ceremony at the Lemurian conference last September. Her name is Mahina Nani, and I have been invited to attend this heart sanctuary gathering in Kauai. So if you are in the area, whether you are visiting or you live on the islands, the information on how to sign up for that event is actually below. And I would be thrilled to co-create with you there. It's going to be a really powerful event with all kinds of sacred ceremony led by Mahina Nani and some body activations by a beautiful soul named Kelly Sears of liquid light magic, if you follow her. And then we have cacao ceremony, we have Ava ceremony, and channeled messages from the Star Mothers. It's going to be just out of this world. So, side tangent. The portal, the number 4. How did I even get there? Because I was talking about 2/24. And if you're not doing anything that day, plan something fun. It's always fun when the numbers like support us through these portals. But essentially, the first two topics are supported by the second two topics today. So I'm just going to slide right into that second topic. That was a real wordy way to slide into the second topic. I am so sorry. I'm still feeling the energy of January. It's been a little rough. It hasn't been horrible, but it's been like weird. I think that's the best way. Because remember when I talked about the disoriented thing? It's this whole disoriented weirdness. And we're still a little bit in it. So just take a deep breath with me. Oh, I feel you all helping me ground while I'm channeling and while I'm bringing this through. Our second topic, I'm going to feel like a broken record, is sovereignty. Sovereignty. Regulating, activating that 5D emotional body is one of the most direct paths to sovereignty. And you cannot have the most expanded version of your sovereign energy without that 5D emotional body piece. That is exactly what my guide said. They're like, you hopped right over to sovereignty. But what happened was, as a theme, by the way, I hopped over to sovereignty as a big theme. They said, but what happened is that you talk all about sovereignty and people aren't fully understanding what it means. And they're like, you don't even understand what it means, JJ. And I'm like, I know. I say things I don't even understand because I'm channeling. But they said, the issue that we're finding is that, yes, we have been saying sovereignty, sovereignty, sovereignty over and over and over again to all of you. It's come through you. It's come through lots of other channels. But guess what? We've noticed something. There's this emotional body piece that is creating a little hitch in the plan. And we would like to invite you to address that first or in conjunction with the sovereignty piece. It'll be a lot easier. And they said, obviously, one of the biggest I don't want to say lower vibrational, well, that's the best way to say it. Lower vibrational frequencies is fear. And that is being stored, housed in that emotional body from 3D, 4D programming. That's the big one that's keeping people from fully stepping into their sovereignty. Fear of their own power. So it's very simple, JJ. They said, you gotta lock in that 5D emotional body. And then you're going to feel that sovereignty piece just literally organically come forward. Organically come forward. Now, I do, again, try to create offerings or co-create offerings that support the themes of the month. This is no exception. For many of you have heard me talk about Sacred Initiation Journey, and another offering that's kind of like a sister offering called Divine Awakening, where we work with Isis, Green Tara, and Hathor to really cultivate the first three chakras and solidify that sense of purity, innocence, sovereignty, those original codes of sovereignty, the original blueprint, divine essence that you are. And Mother Mary, who I channeled a message from last week. Wow, that was super powerful. I listened to it so many times myself. My guides would say, go listen to your Mother Mary activation. You need this. You need this. I was like, wow, I'm glad I channeled that because I obviously need it. Maybe more than anybody else. But she's also overlighting this beautiful container. It is a more in-depth container that requires a certain level of dedication, consistency, and that's actually part of one of my other topics in a second. So, hey, it just rolls right in. But if you're interested and if that concept speaks to you, this round that we're this is our third cohort. So we've done this already, my friend Anna and myself. And I'll put a link to the podcast episode where I shared a little bit about this before. And there's another one coming out because we just recorded our welcome opening ceremony. And every time we record a new one for each cohort. This one we did was wow. So I'm just going to share a little clip with you because I think it is beneficial for you to taste the frequency to see if this is something that might be in alignment for you. If you've been seeking something and you're not sure what it was, this offering for me is the tippity top of like where it takes you. And it's like tippity top, but deep, 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 deep. Like you've done everything else and you're like, what's next? This is it. So anyhow, all the info is below. That's the sovereignty piece. Now slipping into the next topic is super connected to the sacred initiation journey, because in sacred initiation journey, so much of what we do is about ceremony and ritual and setting up the containers and calibrating and inviting everybody to do that personally on a daily basis. Like personal practices is a huge part of the sacred initiation journey, which is key to you activating the 5D emotional body this month and fully stepping into your sovereignty. So I said to you before that the first 2 topics will be supported by the second 2 topics. So your tool for achieving what I just said is to incorporate more ritual in your daily life. Every single day, take some time. Habits, my friends. A lot of us, what I was feeling when I was bringing this theme through, do you want me to tell you what I was feeling? I'll share it with you. I felt like a lot of resistance from your, I would say your teenager years, like 10, 11, 12, even up to teenager. A lot of resistance from the collective. You want to know why? Because I think so many of us were scarred from the educational system, driving in like every day you have to do this. You like practice piano or whatever it was. Like that authoritarian piece came in and sucked the life out of what a ritual could be for. Not only that, but I probably don't even need to say all the religious programming connected to ritual and what it was for. So I'm going to try to bring forward some information on my Instagram, some information in later podcasts this month all about ritual, all about that concept of incorporating daily ritual. And I'll be honest, I don't think I could have brought this topic through 3 months ago because I would have been a hypocrite. But luckily, my guides had some foresight and they're like, JJ better start doing this ritual stuff or she's not gonna be able to teach people about it because it's important. So I just had this like random, I need to do ritual. Like I need to do this practice and journal every day, which I haven't done for a really long time. And it happened the day after solstice. That was like my new year. I started doing these rituals and journaling. And some of you who are in my starseed gridwork community see me posting my journal entries from I have a planetary gridwork journal that I share every day. It's like light codes and a word. It's really, really simple. That's been calibrating me. Now I have 3 journals and every day I try to write in each one. One is for the planetary gridwork. One is for my business. Literally like she wants me to connect with her every day and I journal and I write light codes for her and I activate her and she's a she. She is activations with JJ. And then the third one is for my personal self, like me, JJ. And that one is interesting because that topic of that journal is I am statements, all kinds of different I am statements. Sometimes it's just I write I am 10 times and I'm done. That's actually what I did today. It was just I am. But I'm just dedicating myself more to calibrating in a more intentional and dedicated way. I already said dedicated, but you can tell. Lots of dedication. Lots of dedication. And that's something that we'll look at. I can say those words and you can start thinking about it. Just let it percolate. Let it percolate. Okay, we're getting to the end of this thing. We got to take another deep breath, friends. Let's take a deep breath. This is only 4 topics, but kind of a longer episode. I think we needed it. I'm holding space for you as we're sitting here and you're listening. So the 4th topic is super important. It is, I would say, the optimum tool for anything and everything you try to accomplish this, especially this month. That is our inner child. Now it's interesting because not only did the inner child come up, but I did a channeled Q&A. This was one of my very first free channeled Q&A gatherings. Yes, you can come for free. Just look on my website and you will see you can sign up for free. And I'll be publishing the playback on my YouTube channel a little bit later on this month. But one of the themes that came through was the idea of like our teenage self being resistant. Our teenage self being resistant. So it's interesting because the inner child comes forward in two ways. One, I've talked about this before, the genius inner child leads us where we need to go and what we need to do and how to incorporate fun in our rituals, play. How do we activate the 5D emotional body? We're like a child. We let the emotions flow. We just let them come. We get giggly. We loosen up. We're not so uptight. And that's on the opposite side is that older child self. It's sometimes, that dichotomy there where that's the one where it got shut down. So you're healing and witnessing the trauma, the difficulties that particular part of you came across. Maybe you're connecting the genius inner child and the playful inner child with that older version. I've done that so many times. We don't have very good rites of passage in society today. And I believe, and I've been told by my guides, that if we did, I wouldn't see so much disconnect and bitterness and resentment from our teenage self regarding the fact that their childhood was sort of taken from them and they never were able to truly say goodbye to their childhood. So there's this reconnecting and sort of sense of seasons and completion between those two parts of us. Wow, this is getting deeper than I thought it would. Let that just digest. Let that digest. I'm going to have to think about that myself because that wasn't even the full direction I thought I was going to go with the inner child theme. Wow. Wow. I'm just letting that come in the body. And again, Mother Mary, that's why she came in. She's here to help us with that too. So, go back and listen to that Mother Mary transmission. I think we need it a lot this month. In addition, in a few days, keep your eyes peeled for my Lemurian Star Mothers transmission that is addressing all the topics of February in some way, shape, or form, whether energetically or consciously. And it's going to be incredible. I feel like it's going to be a really powerful transmission for you to listen to. So here we are at the end of the podcast. Woo, we made it. Thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate it. If you don't mind, you could even like and subscribe on all those things on the YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, and if you're on Apple Podcasts, you could leave a comment. I hear those things help, and I also read them and appreciate that little energy exchange. There's one last thing I want to mention because as we head into February, I'm still feeling so strongly the importance of gathering in person. And I know I can't see all of you. Some of you I might see in Hawaii, yay. Some of you I might see in LA, yay. But I am really excited because February 11th, I will be holding a very special cosmic remembrance activation in Los Angeles. And this event has morphed because some things came up where I originally thought it was going to be one theme and now it's going to be another theme. It feels like a gift from the Star Mothers. And I want you to know that this event is going to be sponsored by Star Mothers Worldwide. And it will be one of my very first events I've ever done like this that is offered at no cost. There's a limit to how many people can come. So if you're listening to this and you're in Los Angeles, if you click on the link below, you can attend as long as you are in that first, handful that comes in. I just feel like I said it's a gift and a blessing from the star mothers. They want to come through and they want to offer blessings. And so, again, that will happen on February 11th, which just so happens to be Super Bowl. But it will be at 10 a.m. And if you've ever come to any of my events in Beverly Hills, it's at that same location. So you can find out more about it. You can sign up through the link below. It's going to be really special is what I feel. I also feel like everybody needs to bring flower offerings for the star mothers. There's something about flowers that's coming into it. So again, I would just be honored to be with you there and to be with the star mothers there. All right, my friends, you know how I like to sign off. I'm going to do my usual. I want to just send you so much love. I'm going to use a little light language to send you some love today. Kiraktonore sanai shoktoroya. Yarakto shitraini. Arayani. As always, in reminding you that I am you and you are me and we are we. Let's make it a fabulous February. Until next time.